everyone. So, I wanted to talk about Yelp. Specifically, I wanted to kind of rant about it. Um, so, yeah, I recently I've been watching episodes of Kitchen Nightmares, and in this one episode, this guy actually fabricated positive reviews of his own restaurant, and yeah, uh, and that happens, and that's part of the problem with you know a service like that. Um, and it's difficult, I would think, even though I'm no expert, it's difficult to catch those kinds of things. Um, I mean, sometimes you can, because it's you know a place that has horrible reviews suddenly will have one or two reviews that are amazing, where the person had a great experience. But as I'll explain, that can sometimes happen. Um, so I had read reviews on Yelp years and years and years ago, over 10 years ago, I think. And sites like that can be very helpful. They can help you avoid bad service, things like that. But the problem with Yelp that I experienced was um, so, I don't know, 9 years ago maybe, I had gone to a barber to get my hair cut. And they said, uh, in there and on the outside of the building. The building, by the way, the barbershop was the most garish, unnecessarily overly decorated building I have ever seen in my life. And I've seen some pretty whacked out shit, at buildings and businesses and whatnot. It was obvious that they were desperate to try and get people's attention, to let them know they were there. Now, I had gone to this place, the same, basically, shop in the same area, but it was run by someone else, and she did a very good job. And she was very nice and very, um, complimentary to me, and that's not the only reason, I liked her, but she was just very nice and very competent. So I go back to this place looking for her. This is a few years later. The owners are there, and they say, "Oh no, we sold it. We sold it to, or we bought it from her." And I went, okay. I was really bummed, I couldn't get my hair done by her again. But I thought I'd give these guys a shot. So they cut my hair. It was lopsided. It was not at all symmetrical, even though it was supposed to be. It was badly done. Um, and in the shop they had a sign which said hot lather shaves. Now they weren't shaving my face, but they were shaving part of the nape of my neck. So they put the lather on. It's ice cold, and I'm like, this. I say the lather's kind of cold, and they say no, it isn't. They say it's warm, and I say but it's cold. Psst, wouldn't listen. Just kept arguing. I was like, oh, whatever. So I paid and left. You know, you try to argue with these assholes about payment, and yeah, sometimes they'll call the cops on you and shit like that. It's like I didn't want to bother with it. I'd pay however much money it was, I can't remember, and I fucking left. So I went and left a honest but negative review on Yelp. I told them, tried to tell people about my experiences. I go back a week later, and my review is gone. And I'm like, what the hell happened? So I put it up again. And come back a few days later, it's gone again. The owners kept deleting the reviews. that I was leaving. And it's like, I mean, think about it. If a business gets a negative review on a site whose very existence is to have reviews, honest reviews, you know, so that people can know what they're getting into or know to avoid a place, what's the fucking point of Yelp if the fucking owners can just delete negative reviews? I don't know if that's changed. Again, this was many years ago. But I'm like, I'm thinking, what the? There's no fucking point. It's like, okay, it's like on eBay. Imagine if you had a bad experience with a seller, but you could only leave a positive review. You know, it's like, one, it's misleading. You're just lying to people. And two, it's like, what's the fucking point then of even having reviews? You know, it is literally pointless. And so I fucking stopped using Yelp. I'd only used it once or twice. I mean, like, the first time I did it was for that fucking barber. And I never consulted it again because it's like, what's the point? You know, if I can't trust the reviews on a site which is devoted to reviews, then the site is useless. You know, it's fucking pointless. And yeah, it amazes me. And I think well, okay. So um, recently I went back to Yelp, and because I had gone to a seamstress, and the owner was a little loopy, and I was kind of worried about my garment because I'd bought this really nice, beautiful coat, and I needed to have a couple of buttons moved out, um, and uh, and I go in there and pay for it and all that. She says, we'll call you on Thursday. Thursday came and went. It's Saturday, and I call them. And I say, yeah, hey, I dropped off a coat the other day. You said it was going to be done by Thursday. The guy yells at me. He says, what's your name? What's your name? The owners are Asian. And I start to give him my name, and he doesn't even let me finish my name before he does, yes, done, ready, come in, get it now. And then hangs up on me. And I'm like, what the fuck? Sadly, that kind of treatment seems to be endemic of um, fucking uh, places that do alterations around here. I'm in Western Washington State. And because I called a whole bunch of places to see how much it would cost, because I mean, I would think that someone would be able to tell me, I say, hey, I want to have two buttons moved. They just have like a set price or something, ballpark it for me for Christ's sake, so I can get an idea as to how much it costs at every place, because I don't want to go all the way down to Linwood and then fucking have to go up to Marysville and then have to go to fucking Mount Vernon or fucking, Seattle or what the fuck ever. And so every place I called, I got the same treatment. 90% of these fucking places are owned by Asians. And they they acted as if my calling them was an inconvenience for them. You know? And I'm like, Jesus Christ. So I went to this place. I didn't call them. I just came in. And the lady was nice enough, but she has a lot of baggage, and she needed somebody to tell her life story to, and unfortunately I was there. And I'm the kind of person who, I figure if I have a few minutes and someone, they seem like they're in pain, if they're having problems, if I can be there with them in that moment, I might be able to help them, you know. and she sure took full advantage of that. Um, so I was kind of like, I was like, oh, these people seem pretty wiggy. So I, I went out and I got on Yelp, and I was like, okay, I want to see what this place is about. And the lady had told me that the lady who works there, she's one of the owners. Her and her husband own it. She told me that they had someone working for them before that caused a lot of problems, was very rude to customers, and so they got a lot of negative reviews. Um, I went on Yelp, and there was like, I don't know, 8 or 10 reviews or something, and yep, they were all negative. There was not one positive at all. Um, I was like, wow. I thought maybe Yelp has changed, because if these people could delete those negative reviews, I'm sure they would, you know. Or I don't know, maybe they're more honest than that, but I don't take that as a given with human beings, especially small business owners. All these negative reviews, I start to get worried. So I went in, and I'm thinking, oh boy. I go in, and I had, some of the people on Yelp had actually taken pictures of the garments that they wanted to have altered, and their alterations were much more involved than mine. Um, like this lady, she had bought this standard kind of neck uh, um, sweater for her husband. She said she wanted to have it turned into a V-neck, and she showed pictures, and it was just really shitty. It was this really shitty, poorly done job. It's like I am a complete novice, and I could probably do. That's about how it would look if I did. So I would be very disappointed if that happened to me. So there were actual pictures and documentation to show, that they did. The reviews were being honest and truthful. Um, so I went in, I looked at the thing. It was in good shape. It wasn't damaged at all. It didn't have a bunch of marks or a bunch of dirt on it or anything, which is something that some of the reviewers had said. And the buttons were where I basically wanted them, and I put it on, and it fit okay. And so, as far as that goes, I was happy enough. I don't know how robust the the alterations are. So, I didn't leave a review because if I'm going to leave a review, I'm going to do it several years from now, when the garment has been the coat has been kind of battle tested, so to speak. Um, so uh, so yeah, but it was good enough. It was what I wanted, and so it's like you can have all these really shitty negative reviews, which are honest, but you can also have an actual honest review. And I wasn't going to be glowing, I wasn't going to be over the top about it. I was going to say, well, I was going to be honest. And, but, yeah. So that's kind of the problem with reviews in general with Yelp. And sometimes you can have people who, not too long ago, there was a restaurant uh, that one of Donald Trump's mouthpieces had gone to, and the owner of the restaurant kicked her out because she said, we're not going to serve a vile, lying scumbag. And so on the Yelp for this restaurant, and on their Facebook page, there started to show up all these negative reviews, which were obviously not earnest because the reviews were coming from people all over the country, all over the fucking United States, and this place was in Virginia. So it's like, no, bullshit. And they got so harassed that they had to take down their Facebook page, which is terrible. And I made a bunch of jokes. I made jokes about how the place really they had a rat problem, but then they took care of it, and stuff like that. And I fucked with a bunch of right wingers and put them in their place and shit like that. And that from that interaction on that restaurant's Facebook page, I actually got over 1 million likes on Facebook, which surprised the hell out of me. But you know, so review sites, there's a lot of problems with them because there are people whom are genuine, and they leave a review. But then there are also people who have ulterior motives. Maybe a place is owned by a trans person or a same-sex couple or a non-white person or whomever, and some asshole decides they want to leave them a negative review because they don't like them, because of how they look or whatever, and so you kind of have to go, and investigate a little further. That's why it's always good, if it's a product or something, take pictures of it, and put it up there with your review, because it can actually, that shows, okay, well, and yeah, people can steal pictures and do all that, but at a certain point, it just gets ridiculous, trying to investigate it and figure out if it's real. But you know, yeah, reviews, Yelp. I mean, how stupid, stupid and pointless. You know, if the fucking owner of the company can delete negative reviews, you know. Anyway, yeah, and that's it. Thanks for watching.